50% of households have a dog, and you definitely seem to fit that demographic. My name is Roger Morgan, and I consider myself a seasoned pet industry executive. So I've spent the last 10 years in the pet industry. I've been the CEO of a company based in Dallas for most of that time, selling into retailers, and took that company from about 50 million to about 130 million over about a 7-year time frame. And through that experience, also had a chance to be on the board of what we call the American Pet Products Association, the APPA, and 2 of the last 3 years I've been chairman of that board. So I've had an opportunity to really learn a lot about the pet industry, and that led me to 5 insights that drove me to start this company. And here are the 5 insights. First is that people, as you can all very much attest, I'm sure, that we really do treat pets as members of our families, and we are willing to spend money on them. And there's no shortage of that. I've seen the pet industry grow through the last 2 recessions as chairman of the APPA. The second is that just like human nutrition, pet nutrition can make an amazing difference on the quality of life for these animals. The third insight is that there are a lot of choices out there for pet products, for pet food, and people really get confused trying to figure out what the right thing is to do for their pet. And in addition to that, there's a lot of junk food out there for pets. So it can really be overwhelming and difficult for people to find the right thing for their pets. Fourth is that dog food, pet food, is among the most brand loyal of all consumer products. So that comes with both a blessing and a curse. The blessing is once you get a customer, you've got them probably for the life of their pet. The challenge is how do you ever get them if they're already on something else? Which leads me to my last insight, which is there are 2 resources that people will generally listen to when it comes to their pets. One is their vet, and 2 is friends and family, people they know and trust. So those 5 insights led me to this concept, PawTree, which is customized nutrition for pets. And there are 3 things that make us totally different from anything else on the market. The first is the really high quality nutrition and ingredients. So we have very good quality recipes, proprietary recipes, and the food and the supplements and everything is all made in the USA, all grain-free, no fillers, no poultry byproducts, etc. So really high quality products. The second thing that makes us totally different from anything else on the market is the fact that it's customized and personalized. So the way that works is a pet parent goes onto our website and creates a pet profile about their dog with the dog's age, breed, weight, allergies, etc. And based on all of that information, we then recommend one of our proprietary recipes along with the appropriate supplements and vitamins and treats. As you can see in this photo, we have a whole line of products. So we recommend the right food, but also the right complement of other supplements and treats. And then the personalized part is that they can actually upload a photo of their dog and name the pet food after their dog. And the photo literally prints on the bag of food and ships directly to their house. So very fun. It comes with the quality of great nutrition, but also the fun and cuteness of being able to personalize it and customize it. And then the third thing that makes us very different is the fact that we sell not through retail stores, but we sell completely through word of mouth and what we call social selling or social sharing. Think of it as a Mary Kay or a Pampered Pets or Pampered Chef, for the pet industry. So that industry, the social selling industry, is a $32 billion industry in the U.S. alone, and the pet industry is a $58 billion industry in the U.S. alone, and nobody has put the 2 together in a compelling way, and that's the first mover opportunity that PawTree has. So the results today, we actually launched a year ago, January, and it's been really exciting. Every month we grow on the last month, and that's the way these word of mouth businesses grow. So you go tell your 3 friends, they go tell their 3 friends, and so forth and so on. And so they start out a lot smaller than when you get 4,000 stores sold into Walmart, which is what we did in my old company. This is, it's very much word of mouth, but you can see the trajectory is fabulous. Our May results beat our April results, and we're about $57,000 in sales. So our annual run rate is about $700,000. And last year we were $325,000, and that's the way most of these businesses work. They do about a doubling or tripling every year, and at the beginning, doubling or tripling doesn't add up to a lot of dollars, and over time, doubling or tripling can take a company from 500 to 100 million, 250 million to 500 million, and we see that in this industry a lot. There's a lot of great examples of that. The bottom graph is our number of pet pros, our distributors, who go out and share it with others. And you can see that really is the engine that drives the business. So there are 4 metrics that really matter a lot. And so I've summarized them here, and I'll cover each of them briefly. But the first is the total number of distributors, which we call our pet pros. The second is how productive are they? How much do they sell per month? The third is what percentage of our sales come from subscription, which really drives a lot of strength and predictability. And then the fourth is customer retention. Do we keep our customers? So we'll cover each of those briefly. This is a map you can see after 3 months. We had 28 pet pros in 12 states. And 3 months later, 6 months in, you can see we were in 20 states with 68 pet pros. And then through February, we had 228 pet pros in 30 states. So you can see the progression, and that's, again, the way these word-of-mouth businesses do grow and scale. The second metric I mentioned is the utilization productivity of the pet pros. And so this chart is basically a cohort analysis. Each colored line represents a month of pet pros that started in that particular month of the business. And really what this shows is 2 things. One, that we have a range of sales from about $100 to $900 per month per pet pro. And the second is the trajectory. You see the black dotted line shows that as time progresses, each pet pro on average sells more the next month than they sold the month before. And that's because we've got such a strong percentage of our sales on subscription. So once you get somebody started, they're kind of in the baseline, and you go get the next person started, and so forth and so on. It just keeps building month after month, which is a good segue to the third metric, which is our percentage of sales that come from consumables and from subscription. And this was one that really was remarkable and kind of blew us out of the water when we realized with the results versus our business plan. I had expected to have about 40% of our sales from subscription. And as you can see on the right-hand side of this chart, we actually have 89% of our sales. That's after 17 months of real results. 89% of our sales are coming from subscription. So people give us their credit card, get on the plan, and then it ships every 20 or 40 or 60 or 80 days to their house, and they stick with it. And that leads me to the final 4th point, which is retention. They do stick with it. It's amazing. And it goes back to the insight that I mentioned at the beginning. People are very brand loyal when it comes to their dog food. So once they get on something that's working, they'll stick with it. And that's what we found, that after that first 1 to 3 months, they usually make that decision, and you see a little fall off in the beginning. And then the power of this slide is that this is, again, another cohort analysis. We take every batch of customers by month and say what happens to them the longer that they're in the business. Do we see continued decline, or does it flatten? And you can see here that it flattens. We have, after 12 months, the majority of our customers, we have over 60% of our customers still in the business, and it flatlines. So that's really powerful in terms of the long-term predictability of our model. So with that, I'll talk briefly about our market size. We think this is a $250 million sales opportunity in phase 1. That doesn't include any international expansion. And there are multiple ways. We've done kind of a top-down and a bottoms-up analysis on market size. But as I mentioned, we've got a $58 billion pet industry. $22 billion of that is just food. And it really doesn't take us, as you can see on the slide, it takes us less than 1% market share on multiple metrics to achieve $250 million in sales value. So really big market. We are raising right now between $2 to $6 million. We already have a term sheet in hand for $1 million, and internal commitments from our current investor group for about another $1 million. So we're looking to kind of top off that with would love to have some more investors to participate. We did a round 2 years ago, and that round we raised $5 million at a pre-money valuation of $12 million. And the lead investor in that round was Petco Stores. And that's confidential. I'd ask you if you could keep that within this room. But they great vote of confidence in our team, in our business plan, and in the market size of what we're building. And so they've been a great partner. And speaking of partners, you think about exits. This is my last slide. A lot of opportunities in the exit of this. So for starters, a strategic such as Petco would be a great potential. And I've got several strategics in the pet space who have already approached me Again, knowing my background in the pet industry, I know all of the key players, and we've had several conversations with folks who are keeping an eye on us. So strategic is certainly one exit potential. Another is private equity, and this slide gives you just a flavor for the private equity firms that are investing on the left-hand side of the slide in the pet industry, on the right-hand side of the slide in the social selling industry, but lots of investment interest, private equity interest in both of these spaces. And then the third exit option is certainly an IPO, which we've seen some pet activity in the IPO space over the years as well. So